The unfinished frame. We are trained to want the whole story. We want to know what happened, who was right, what choice was made, where the road leads, whether the door was opened or closed, whether the figure returned or disappeared for good. Unfinished things make us restless. A conversation that ends too soon, a letter never sent, a face turned away before we can read it, a silence that seems to know more than it says. We often call that discomfort confusion, but sometimes it is not confusion at all. Sometimes it is attention. The unfinished thing keeps working because it has not released us. It leaves a space the mind instinctively tries to cross. We return to it, not because it failed to answer, but because it trusted us with part of the burden. Art can do the same thing. Some images explain themselves immediately. They show us the subject, deliver the message, and close the door. They may be beautiful, skilled, or memorable, but they arrive finished. The viewer receives them and moves on. Other images behave differently. They stop before the explanation. They hold back the last sentence. They offer a figure, a room, a road, a gesture, a shadow, a distance between people, and then they leave enough unsaid that the viewer must enter. That is the power of the unfinished frame. It does not mean the image is incomplete in craft. It means the story remains alive. A finished image can be admired. An unfinished frame asks to be inhabited. Evidence, not verdict. There is a particular kind of image that feels as if we have arrived in the middle of something. The visible moment is clear enough to hold us, but not complete enough to settle us. A person stands in a doorway, yet the real question is not the door. A rider pauses beneath a heavy sky, yet the real question is not the horse. A figure looks away, and suddenly the unseen thing becomes more important than the visible face. The image gives us evidence, not verdict. This is where restraint becomes a form of generosity. The artist does not tell us everything. The image does not close every opening. Instead, it leaves room for memory, suspicion, sympathy, fear, recognition, and imagination. The viewer is not treated as a spectator standing outside the work. The viewer becomes part of the final act, where the image begins to move. In narrative photography, this can be especially powerful because the camera carries the authority of something witnessed. We believe, at least for a moment, that the world inside the frame existed. The clothing had weight. The light touched real surfaces. The ground held real dust. The body stood there. But the meaning is not trapped inside the evidence. A photograph can show what was in front of the lens while still leaving open what the moment means. In fact, that tension may be one of photography's deepest strengths. It can look factual and feel unresolved. It can present a scene with clarity while withholding emotional certainty. That is where the image begins to move, not physically, but inwardly. The mind starts building the missing scene. What happened before this? What is being hidden? Who knows more than they are saying? What waits beyond the edge of the frame? Is this the beginning of trouble, or the moment after it has already passed? The image does not answer. It listens. A cinematic image often works this way. It feels less like a record of a subject and more like one frame from a larger story. The composition may guide the eye like a camera. The light may divide the world into safety and danger, confession and concealment, past and consequence. The silence may feel deliberate, but the cinematic quality does not come from spectacle. It comes from pressure. The frame holds more than it explains. The subject becomes a doorway. This is why unresolved images can stay with us longer than images that announce themselves too clearly. Certainty ends the encounter. Ambiguity extends it. When everything is explained, the viewer has little left to do. When something essential is withheld, the viewer begins to participate. That participation is not a weakness in the image. It is part of the image's design. The unfinished frame trusts the viewer's intelligence. It trusts that we know what silence feels like. It trusts that we understand hesitation, regret, distance, pride, loneliness, threat, tenderness, and doubt without needing each one named for us. It also trusts that looking is not passive. To truly look is to bring something of ourselves to the work. We bring our memories of rooms we have entered too late, roads we did not take, things we almost said, people we could not fully read, moments in life that never gave us the courtesy of a clean ending. The unfinished frame meets us there. It does not offer a sealed meaning. It offers a charged space. This matters because much of modern looking has become fast.